الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونتوب إليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. So once again, we are grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for giving us another opportunity to come learn about how to properly read the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which is very important as we mentioned in the first class. So this is the third class. And today, inshallah, we'll actually start delving in some of the rules, inshallah. And this is really the time, now really the time to start memorizing. And in the next classes, inshallah, these are things that should really become second nature to us. So when we talk about al-ilhar, and we say, what are the letters of ilhar? It should come out just like when somebody asks me, what is my name, inshallah. So this is the time, inshallah, to read it. The first two classes were foundations. There are a couple of chapters that we skipped, inshallah, that we'll come back to, and they had to do with foundations as well. But this is now really the start of the rules, inshallah, and we'll start taking examples in the Quran, inshallah. And I really highly encourage the brothers, inshallah, to start memorizing, inshallah. And memorization starts with writing it down, inshallah. As the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam tells us, "Ayyidul ilma bil kitaba," retain knowledge by writing it down, inshallah. And if there is any question, obviously, you can always call, inshallah, and or text, inshallah. So today we'll talk about the chapter. The name of the chapter is, it's a long chapter that we're starting, that we'll spend a lot of time on. It is called Ahkamun Nun Sakinati Wat Tanween. So Ahkam, we saw this actually in the first class, but we did not see it in this form. Ahkam is a plural in Arabic. It is what is called Jam'u Taksir. Remember when we were learning the first time, we say hukmuhu, right? When we talked about Tajweed, what is the ruling? And then we say that to read it and to practice it is an obligation upon each one of us. But to learn the theories behind it, to learn it extensively, to specialize in it, it's not an obligation upon each and every one of us. So ahkam are the rules. An-nun is sakinati wat tanween. We'll come back and define them in a second. So there are two things that have rules in the Quran. And that's, we're not talking about the other things, inshallah, we'll come back. So now at the very beginning, we're saying, what the Shaykh is telling us is, Nunus Sakina is one thing, and Tanween is another thing. And these two, they have rules that have to be respected and obeyed and kept in mind when we read the Quran. Are you with me? Yes. So that's the title. So the rules of An-Nun Sakina, what Tanween. So then the next thing is, I know what rules are. I know the rules are made to be followed, right? So the next question I ask myself is, what is An-Nun Sakina? And then what is At-Tanween? And we'll come to that. He'll tell us, inshallah, in a second what those are. And then he tells us, Arba'atu Ahkamin. Arba'a in Arabic is four, right? So he says, Arba'atu Ahkamin. There are four rules of An-Nun Sakina Wat Tanween. So whatever An-Nun Sakina is, and whatever At-Tanween is, their rules are four. And then he starts listing them. He says the first one is what is called Al-Ilhar. The second one is called Al-Idgham. The third one is called Al-Iqlab. And the fourth one is called Al-Ikhfa. So Al-Ilhar, Al-Idgham, Al-Iqlab, Al-Ikhfa, these are the rules of An-Nun Sakina and At-Tanween. So right away it becomes natural that I have to know these four, right? It's like when somebody has four wives. It is in your interest to know their names and to know who they are, right? Yeah. Is it not? Yeah. It is, right? So Al-Ilhar, Al-Idgham, and Al-Iqlab, and Al-Ikhfa, these are the four rules of An-Nun Sakinati Wat Tanween. Now you can see then, we're going to have to spend a lot of time. As we always see in the Maghrib class, every now and then, Ustad will tell us this is a case of al-idgham bil-ghunna, or then he'll say this is a case of al-idgham al-kamil, al-idgham al-naqis. So these are terms that we used to hear. Now we are in a position, inshallah, to learn what these terms mean and what they reflect. Al-iqlab, we always see it as well when we learn in the Tajweed class, in the Quran class. So every now and then Imam will say, so this is a case of iqlab and ikhfa, just like when we were reading Surah Al-Alaq between Maghrib and Isha. We saw when Ahmad was reading Al-Insan. So we say spend time because this is a case of al-ikhfa. So these are the rules that we will keep in mind, that we will learn extensively. And each one of them we'll learn will take our time. Some are longer, some are shorter. And the way that these rules work, we'll find out in a second. But let's define two important concepts, right? And what are those two important concepts that we want to define now? Now we have 4 rules, and we had a title that says rules of. So what are the 2 things that I need to know now? Excellent. And at-tanween. So I need to know what is an-nun sakina and what is at-tanween. If they have 4 rules, first and foremost, let me know what they are. And then I can keep in mind these rules. And that is what the Sheikh does for us. He starts out by defining for us an-nun sakina. So an-nun is the Arabic letter nun. That's nun, right? We know that letter, right? Now, Ahmad, an-nun sakina. So nun is nun, the letter nun. So this is an-nun. So this is nun. This is nun. That's what it is. As-sakina in Arabic is a way of saying that something has this vowel. So in Arabic we have how many vowels to start with before we come to tanween? We have
4.
I hear 4. I hear. So we have, so let's say if this is the letter, right, this line. So we have al-fatha, we have al-dhamma, we have al-kasra, and as-sukun. So who would say 4? Anybody says 4?
Yes.
I say 4. So here, when we have a letter in Arabic, and now here's a tip from Arabic grammar that will every now and then we'll have to go to grammar actually. So the word an-nun for the grammar geeks and wizards. So an-nun mudhakkar or muannath? Muannath. لماذا? That's a very good one, huh?
Yeah.
So he says, so I'm asking him, an-nun, is it masculine or feminine? He says, it's feminine, because he looks here and he sees ta'ul marbuta, right?
Yeah.
And this is an adjective. This is what is called in Arabic as-sifa or an-na'at, right? So, an-nun, so here's a general rule. In Arabic, all of the letters, by definition, are feminine. So al-alif in Arabic is feminine, all the way through ya. So you cannot say in Arabic an-nun sakin. So all of the letters of Arabic are feminine by definition, by convention in the Arabic language. Are you with that? So then an-nun sakina, it means a nun that has a sukun. How do we read this?
But you need a fatha, you need another nun.
How do we read this?
Need another letter before it to
You
read.
need a
No, you
letter
need something
before.
else.
You can read it.
You need another letter that's mutaharrik.
So you're with me. But so in Arabic you cannot start with a sukun. But individually you can say it. You can tell me, now how do we read this? An, right?
Yeah.
So this is an, right?
Yes.
So an. So now an-nun sakina is this an. Right? A nun. Any nun that has sukun. Now things are not easy anymore. In Quran, things are becoming complex. There are a lot of nun in the Quran that have sukun. And now it's telling me that a nun that has a sukun and a tanween that he will define in a second for me has 4 rules. And some of these rules, as we'll see, will have sub-rules. So now it's calling me to be careful, right? And very attentive when I read the Quran. So a noon sakina, by definition, very simple, is a noon that has a sukun. That's why he says, هي الخالية من الحركة. It is the noon that is devoid of a vowel. So the vowel, when Arab says al-haraka, it means the fatha, or the dhamma, or the kasra. So it means that you are left with the sukun. He says, مثل نوني. The example, one example is like the noon of this letter min. Min is, in grammar, harfu jar. Excellent. So here, do we have a noon that has a sukun? In this word, min. I see heads shaking.
Say it again.
Are we hungry?
No.
We can pause and have dinner. We can probably. So let's say it again. So min. Do we have a noon that has a sukun here?
Yes.
So do we have a noon sakina huna?
Yes.
We do. In an, do we have a noon sakina?
Yes.
So we do, right? So that's what he's telling me. So he's defining for me. النون الساكنة هي الخالية من الحركة. So it is the noon that is devoid of a vowel. It is devoid of a fatha, a dhamma, and a kasra. The example, mithla, is like, right? Such as we say in English. So mithla, such as the noon of min or an. So in min, we have two letters. We have a mim maksura, a mim that has a kasra, and we have a noon sakina. And here in an, we have ayin maftuha, the ayin that has a fatha, and a noon sakina. So if I were to see min and an in the Quran, I have to be careful. That's what this is implying, right? Because it can be this, it can be that, it can be that, and it can be that. And how do I know which one it is? Huh? Knowing the rules, exactly, right? So now let's take another one. At-tanween, because he said wa. So wa in Arabic means and. So all of these rules that he's teaching us, or he's about to teach us in the next few sessions, apply to both a noon that has a sukun and a tanween. So tanween and noon that has a sukun in Arabic are treated exactly the same way. That's what he's telling me. Are you with me?
Yes.
So he said, what is at-tanween then? What is tanween? He says, at-tanween huwa noonun sakina. He says tanween is actually a noon that has a sukun. That's strange, right? But let's follow him. Za'ida, that is actually added, that, so this is an additional noon that has a sukun. He said, talhaqu akhir al-asma, that you will find at the very last letter of nouns. But he says, lafwan, you'll find it spoken in words, la khattan, you will not find it written. We'll see in a second. It sounds complex. It's a very simple concept. He says, wahia, wahua. Here, it's, so this here can go to the nunu sakina, or it could go to the tanween. But let's make it wahua so that we focus on the tanween. So wahua, meaning at-tanween, ibaratun anil fathatayn. So it is two fatha, awil kasratain, two kasra, awil dhammatain, two dhamma, right? So fathatain, kasratain, dhammatain. So in Arabic, I have the possibility of saying what is this? Fa. What is this? Fan. What is this? What is this? What is this one? And what is this one? Fun. So now we have a fatha. When we double it, it becomes tanween. We have a kasra. When we double it, it becomes tanween. Now we have dhamma. When we double it, it becomes tanween. Now the Sheikh is telling us, in this tanween that I'm seeing here, fan, fin, fun, there is an additional noon that has a sukun. But he's telling, am I seeing it? Oh, so it makes sense. So he says, I don't see it, but I speak it. Am I saying a noon that has a sukun here? Let's follow it. So the Sheikh is telling us that in Tanween is actually a noon that has a sukun that we say but we don't write. So let's see how that plays out. What is this again?
Fun.
What is that?
Fun.
What is that? What is the difference between these two? Are they the same?
Different writing.
Ah, that's exactly lafdan la khartan. Sound? No written. Right? So when he says that indeed, tanween is indeed a noon sakina, Ahmed, you're following? So an additional noon sakina that will come back to the grammar wizards inshallah in a second. So that we'll find in the very last letter of the nouns, and it is something that is spoken, not written, then this makes sense, right? Because here I have fun and I have fun. So if I were to write this out, it means, oh, there is a noon sakin actually that's here that I'm saying. That's the reason why it makes sense that tanween and noon that has a sukun have the same rules. You with me? Let's take it to kasra. What is this again? Can I write it this way?
Yes.
What is that?
Fin.
Fin. So I'm saying to kasra, so I'm actually saying a noon that has a sukun. What is the last one? This is? And what is this? Fun. So now when he tells me that indeed a tanween is an additional noon that has a sukun, that joins the last letter of nouns, and it is spoken but not written, then now it makes sense. That the rules of tanween and the rules of a noon that has a sukun are exactly the same. Are you with me?
Yes.
Is that clear?
Yeah.
Now, for the grammar wizards, when we learn grammar, we talk about aqsamul kalam. We talk about the divisions of al-kalam. How many? I see 3. Do you see 3? Three. What are they? Al-ismu, wal-fi'lu, wal-harf, right? So this, inshallah, when we learn the Arabic grammar, we'll know. So in Arabic, when you want to talk about something, so the Arabs, they say that the wording in Arabic, it divides it into 3. You have what is called al-ismu, which is a noun, al-fi'l, which is a verb, and then al-harf, which is a letter. If you have 3 different things, you need signs to tell you which one is which, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Right? So they have to be different. Something has to be specific to ismu and does not overlap with fi'l. Something has to be, does not overlap with not only fi'l, but it does not overlap with harf either. And then you have to have something that is specific to fi'l, that will make it fi'l, that does not overlap with ism, and it does not overlap with harf. And the same holds true, right? With harf. So now, he says here that this tanween, you will only see in the last letter of nouns. So asma is jam'u taksir. Asma is a plural. What is the singular? Ism, right? So then, what he's telling me is, tanween, even if I don't know Arabic grammar, tanween is actually something that is a sign of ism in Arabic. So tanween in Arabic, I will never see in a fi'l, and I will never see in a harf. Is that clear?
Yes.
So that's what he's telling me. And when we learn Arabic grammar, inshallah, we'll talk extensively about the other signs of that. So tanween in Arabic. So now I have something. I have a bonus point in Arabic grammar today, right?
Yeah.
Any word that I see in Arabic that has a tanween, now I know that it is a It is an ism. But you will see, inshallah, in the Quran, that there are verbs in the Quran, actually, according to the writing, you will see tanween on them, inshallah. But let's skip that for the future, inshallah. But now we have definitions for what we want to know. So we know what is an-nun sakina. It means a noon that has sukoon, right? We know at-tanween, and the definition of tanween is, it is an additional noon that has a sukoon that joins the last letter of nouns, but we don't say it. We just say it, but we don't write it. So just like if we take another letter that we can see there, what is that? What is that? Does that look familiar?
Yes.
It does. What is this? What is this? What is that? What is that? So now we're set. Ahmed? An, yes. So this is an, right? This is an and this is an. So now we know. So now then the task is the following. The task is, now whenever I see a tanween in the Quran, or whenever I see a noon that has a sukun in the Quran, I have to take a step back. Now I cannot read it anymore the way that Dad read it, or the way that I heard it, right? It has to follow. It has to follow rules, right? So there are rules to be followed now, right? Now we're talking about the science now, right? We're talking about really learning now, right? So when I drive a taxi in New York City, not only do I need to know the rules, but if I want to like really benefit from my job, does it make sense for me to actually apply the rules and follow them? It does, right? Otherwise it will go back to...
If you want to last.
If you want to last, as Mansour says, right? So now he's going to start to talk about these rules one by one. And today he'll start with the most simple one, which is called al-ilhar. So al-ilhar in Arabic is a masdar, is a root. The verb is al-hara. So al-hara in Arabic is to reveal something, like to make something visible. Al-hartu hatifi, like I made my phone visible, right? So al-hara is something very natural, visible. That's why he says that lughatan, remember what we said when we started talking about definitions, we'll always have two definitions, right? We'll have a linguistic definition and a functional and a contextual definition. He says lughatan al-bayan. Al-bayan is to make something clear, right? Right? Inna al-halala bayyinun wa inna al-harama bayyinun. The Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam tells us that halal is very clear and obvious, and haram is very clear and obvious. So when we're talking about al-ilhar, we're talking about something that is very obvious. So what this means is that right away I can expect that, oh, this is going to be something that the Arabs knew. This is going to be something that the Arabs did not find was new in the Quran. This was something that was natural, right? That's what it means. And then he tells us, when we say al-ilhar in Tajweed, what does it mean? The contextual definition, he says, إخراج كل حرف من مخرجه من غير غنة. It is to pronounce every letter, كل حرف, every letter من مخرجه, from its exit, where it's supposed to come out, من غير غنة, with no غنة. Now there are words we need to define, right? So he's saying that every letter in Arabic has a exit where it comes out, a gate, right? Like when you go to the airport, not all of the planes will have the same gate at the same time, right? They'll give you your gate number, right? And it is in my interest to, if I want to get on the right plane, to go to the right gate, right? So he's saying that whatever al-ilhar is, and ilhar in a second will give ilhar some children. So these letters, when we pronounce them from where they're supposed to come out, min ghayri ghunna, without any ghunna. Now we'll have a chapter on ghunna. But basically what ghunna is, it is a sound that is beautiful and sweet. صوت حسن له رنين يخرج من الخيشوم لا عمل للسان فيه. So it is a sound that is beautiful and sweet that comes out from basically the nose. Tongue does not do anything on it. So when we were learning, Ahmad, remember when we were learning in Surah Al-Alaq, we say خلق الإنسان من علق, right? We spend time إنسان. So when I say insan, so that sound, that is al-ghunna. Are you with me?
Yes.
When I say قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ النَّاسِ, so that sound on the noon, that is ghunna. So now what he's telling me is when I do idhar, I don't have that sound. Beautiful, right? So it makes sense. So what it means is that ghunna is an addition, right? And this is base. This is base. This is baseline and natural, right?
Yes.
So now, the way these rules work is we'll take the Arabic alphabet from alif to ya, from hamza to ya, and then each one of them will give them children. Right? Does that make sense? So what he's saying is that each one of these, we're going to say idhar, we give idhar this many letters of the Arabic. Idgham, this many. Iqlab, this many. Al-ikhfa, this many. What does that mean? What it means is that if I have a tanween, if I have a noon that has a sukoon, and it's followed by one of these letters, that's when I apply the rule. Right? And we'll see examples in a second. He says, hurufuhu sitta. So we're going to take 6 letters. So hurufuhu, it's letters. So the ha huna, the damir goes to what? Al-idhar. So in other words, huruful idhar, the letters of idhar are 6. So of the Arabic alphabet, we're going to take 6 letters and we'll say that these are the letters that are the children of al-idhar. So whenever these letters that we're about to mention follow tanween, or they follow a noon that has a sukoon, we do ilhar. So we don't have a unna. We pronounce them right without any unna. And what are the 6 letters? Al-hamza. So this is not alif. This is, so there is always a confusion between alif and hamza. So this is a hamza. Al-ha, al-ayyin, al-ghayyin, al-ha, al-kha. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So he's saying that if you have a hamza and it follows, so if you were to have a hamza here, or here, or here, or here, or here, or here, which rule do you apply? If you were to have a ha in the same position, what do we do? If you were to have a ayyin, al-ayyin, al-ha, al-kha. Should we open a book and have some examples? Or should we take examples from a book?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
Should we take examples from a book?
Yeah.
Which book do you want to take an example from? Ah, the Quran. MashaAllah. So the Shaykh has some examples for us. And here are the examples that he has for us to bring it to practice, right? So he says, Amthilatul ilhad. So, mathal in Arabic is an example. Amthila is a jamu. What kind of jamu is this?
جمع مؤنث. جمع تكثير.
Jamu al-mu'annath is salim in Arabic has what? An alif n? Alif n?
نون.
Alif n? Alif n? Ta. Inna al-muslimina wal? Muslimat. Do we have alif and ta here?
No.
So Jamul Muzakkar is Salim has a waw and noon, or a ya and noon. Do we have that here?
No.
Excellent, right? So these are examples of al-idhar. And he takes one letter by one letter. And he will give us beautiful examples of when we have an example in one word, 2 words, And tanween, can we have tanween? An example of tanween in one word?
No.
Why?
Because you can.
Because the tanween is always at the end of the word. So
Wonderful. Allah yubarik fik. Ala. Tanween is always at the end of
the
the
letter.
word, right? So you cannot have an
Yeah.
example of tanween in the same word. Remember, talhaqu akhir al-asma, the very last letter. So let's take al-hamza. Here's a word he says, yan awna. So this is yan awna. So here we have a noon that has a, and what follows it?
Hamza.
So how do I read this? So if I were to say yan awna,
No.
is that good?
No.
It doesn't even sound good, right? Ahmad, why am I being a bad student? Is that why you're laughing at me? So when we have a noon that has a sukoon and followed by a hamza, and this is in one word, we read it naturally. No ghunna, yan awna. And here's an example: a noon that has a sukoon, that is part of one word, and a hamza that follows it. How do we read this? Man amana. So I don't say man amana, no room for that, right? Yes, man amana. And now here we have a tanween, and it is followed by a hamza. How do we say this? So can I say kullun aman? Because what rule do I have here? Why do I have idhar here?
Because of yeah.
Because I have
Hamza. Like.
no. So the way now this is how we'll respond in the. So we'll say, what do we have here? Al-Idhar. Why do I have Idhar? Because I have a tanween that is followed by a hamza. So that is the proper, so, and this will become always the answer that we need to give. What do we have? Al-Idhar. Why do we have it?
Because you have tanween followed by hamza.
Followed by Hamza.
Excellent. So we have a tanween that is followed by a hamza. So let's take examples of al-ha. So al-anhar, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us Jannah so that we can enjoy the anhar of Jannah, right? So al-anhar, we have a noon that is followed by a ha. And this is a case of al-ilhar. So let's not say ilhar, but al-ilhar, right? So al-ilhar, right? So here we have a noon that has a sukoon, and it's followed by a ha. And they're in two separate words. So how do we read this? Min had wa man yudlilillahu fama lahu min had. Right? So no ghunna. And here we have a, what is this? Tanween followed by a, in two separate words. So jurufin har, right? In Tawbah, right? So jurufin har. So no need for ghunna, no room for ghunna. Al-ayyin. Ha. Now something becomes familiar. So when we learn in the Quran class, Ustad used to always tell us not to say ani anta, right? So now here we know why. Right, Ahmed? Now we know why. Because we have a noon that has what? And it's followed by a. So what do I have? So how do I read it? An'amta. Right? So now it becomes Hussein. Now things are coming together, right? So he used to say these theoretical things to us, huh? Now we know why we don't say we know why we don't say it. Because we know that the noon here that has a sukoon is followed by a ayin, and we know that ayin is one of the letters of al-Ilhar. Another example, a noon that has a sukoon followed by a ayin in two separate words, min ilm, right? So I just read it naturally. Min ilm, ma kana liya min ilmin bil mala'il a'la, right? Min ilm, naturally. Hakimin alim. So here we have a tanween followed by a ayin. So hakimin alim. No, hakimin alim. That's a mistake. Because here I have a tanween that is followed by a ayin. And ayin is one of the letters of al-ilhar. So here I read it, pronounce it right without any ghunna. And then al-ghayyin. Here's a word where we have a noon that has a sukun, followed by a ghayn. So what do we have here? How do we say this? Fasayunriduna, right? Fasayun. So not fasayun. That's a mistake, right? Fasayunriduna. So this is in what surah? Al-Isra. Fasayunriduna ilayka ru'usa wa yaquluna mata hu. So min ghil. So here we have a noon that has a sukun and it's followed by a ghayn. So here I say min ghil. وَنَزَعْنَا مَا فِي صُدُورِهِم min ghil. Right? Min ghil. So no gunna. So here we have a tanween followed by a. So how do we say this? Excellent, beautiful. And here we have al-ha, examples of al-ha. So here yanhitun. So we have a noon that has a sukun followed by a ha. They're in the same word. So here I just read it naturally, yanhitun. Right? Yanhitun. Right, Ahmad? You agree? Here, an example in 2 words. Noon that has a sukun followed by a ha. Min hakim. Naturally, right? Another example of a tanween. We have hakimin hamid. A tanween followed by a ha. So I read it naturally. Now the last letter, al-kha, al-munkhaniqatu, right? In al-ma'idah. So here we have a noon that has a sukun followed by a kha. So I read it just naturally, al-munkhaniqatu, right? And then min khayr. A noon that has a sukun followed by a kha in 2 separate words. Ilhar, no gunna. And the last example is that of a tanween, where we have a tanween followed by a kha. And this is a case of al-ilhar. Right? So now, the homework for next week is we'll read from Suratul Adiyat all the way to Nas, right? And then we'll see examples. Each one of us will give examples of ilham that we see. Does that make sense? That's not difficult, right? So we go to Surah. Now the Quran, I can see the smile actually on some of our faces. Some people are already enjoying, right? The fact that now I can go and enjoy. So we'll look from Surah Al-Adiyat all the way down to Surah Al-Nas, and we'll jot down every single example of al-ilhar. And then next week we'll talk about them. So let's go over it, inshallah, and then we'll let you write and we'll call it a night, inshallah. So ahkamun nun is-sakinati wa tanween. The rules of nun sakina and tanween. So nun sakina and tanween in Tajweed have the same rules. So they're lumped together. Every rule that applies to nun sakina applies to tanween. That's what he's telling me. He says arba'atu ahkam. There are 4 rules. The first one is called al-idhar. The second one is called al-idgham. The third one is called al-iqlab. The fourth one is called al-ikhfa. So al-idgham will have a naming ceremony for idgham next week, inshallah. What will we slaughter? A camel or a lamb or we'll have a naming ceremony for it. And then iqlab will do the same. And then al-ikhfa. We will not fair to al-idhar today because we did not have anything today, right? So we'll be fairer next week, inshallah, to al-idgham. So what is an-nun as-sakina? He says an-nun as-sakina is a nun that has a sukun. Hiya al-khaliya min al-haraka. It is the nun that is devoid of a vowel, a fatha, or a dhamma, or a kasra. It does not have it. It has a sukun. As-sakina is a sukun, right? So mithla, like nuni, the nun of this word, min. Min has a nun that has a sukun. And an has a nun that has a sukun. The next thing that I need to know is at-tanween. So what is at-tanween? It says, huwa nunun sakinatun za'ida. It's an additional nun that has a sukun that joins the very last letter of nouns. Not any word, but nouns. Lafwan, that we speak. La khattan, that we don't write. Right? Wa huwa ibar at-tanween is what? 2 fatha, 2 kasra, or 2 dhamma. وهو عبارة عن الفتحتين أو الكسرتين أو الضمتين. So this is a case of al-fathatain. We have two fatha. Al-kasratain, two kasra. Al-dhammatain, here we have two dhamma. And then he starts telling us about the very first rule that we need to know. So this rule, al-ilhar, applies to what and what? Al-ilhar applies to what and what?
نون الساكنة والتنوين.
And nun sakina wa tanween, right? So we'll flip this any way that will help us understand it, right?
Yeah.
So the first one is al-ilhar. So what is al-ilhar? When the Arabs say al-ilhar lughatan, what do they mean? Al-bayan, to make something obvious, to make something clear, right? Wahir, right? Istilahan, functionally, in this context of the science of Tajweed, what do we mean when we say al-ilhar? What we mean is إخراج كل حرف من مخرجه من غير غنة. So it is to pronounce every letter of ilhar from where it's supposed to be pronounced exactly with no ghunna. And ghunna will have an extensive chapter on ghunna. But suffice it to say that it is that sound that I hear, بِرَبِّ النَّاسِ إِنَّ الْإِنسَانِ, right? So that is that sound. So what it's telling me is, whatever the letters of al-ilhar are, when I say them, when they come after tanween, or they come after a nunu sakina, I don't have that sound. I will read them naturally, right? So what are the letters? Al-hamza, al-ha, al-ayyin, al-ghayyin, al-ha, al-kha. So these are 6 letters. When they follow tanween, or they follow nun that has a sukun, we apply the rule of idhar. So now, every single time I see now in the Quran a tanween, and I see a nun that has a sukun, now I cannot go, right? It's a red light, right? I have to take a step back, right? And see which direction to go. Because I have 4 directions. And maybe I will have some sub-directions, right? So then I have to take a step back and then say, now I have a tanween. I have a nun that has a sukun. So what should be the rule? And what tells me what the rule should be? What do I do next when I have the tanween and the nun that has a sukun?
Which letter is it?
Excellent. So I look at the letter that follows, right? If the letter is Hamza, I know I have. If it is Ha, I know I have. If it is Ayin, I know I have. If it is Ayin, I know I have. If it is Ha, I know I have. If it is Kha, I know I have. So now right away I know that Hamza, Ha, Ayin, Ghayin, Ha, and Kha will not be letters of idgham, will not be letters of al-iqlab, and will not be letters of al-ikhfa. Right? So I know, because we gave them to, they're the children of al-ilhar, right? Right?
Yes.
So these are the examples. Al-hamza, in one word, yan'aun. In 2 words, man aman. Here we have the case of tanween. Kullun aman. Al-ha, here we have nunu sakina, followed by a ha in 1 word. Al-anhar, nunu sakina here, followed by a ha in 2 words. Minhad, here we have a tanween, followed by a ha. Jurufin, ha. And here al-ayyin, we have it in 1 word. We have a nun that has a sukun, followed by a ayyin in the same word. An'amta. And then we have it in 2 words. We have a nun that has a sukun, followed by a ayyin in 2 words. And then here we have an example of a tanween. And so it goes down with the rest of the letters. So now we have, and we know what is al-ilhar. What remains to be done is, first and foremost, consolidate it, right? We review, we consolidate. We review, we read it, we read it, we read it, review, and then we look at the Quran. If I have my word of Quran, if I read the Quran on a daily basis, now I will pay attention. If I were reading Surah Al-Ma'idah, now I'll start saying, so what is okay? Whenever I see a tanween, or I see a nun that has a sukun, I ask myself, I know 6 letters of ilhar, so let me see if I see an example. And if I, in Surah Al-Ma'idah, very soon, I'll run into al-munkhaniqatu, right? Are you with me?
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
So inshallah, so this will continue inshallah. So for each one of them, inshallah, we'll continue. We'll give it a definition, linguistic one and a functional one, and we'll give it letters, and we'll have examples, and that will become clear. And the homework we say for next week, inshallah, we'll start from Surah Al-Adiyah all the way to Surah Al-Nas, and then we'll give examples of Al-Idhar. That has how many letters?
6.
And what are the letters? Al-Hamza,
الهاء
Al-Ha,
الغين
Al-Ayyin, Al-Ghayyin,
الحاء
Al-Ha,
الخاء.
Al-Kha. Now let's close our eyes. It has how many letters?
6 letters.
6. What are they?
همزة
I see eyes that are open.
Al-Hamza,
What are they? Al-Hamza,
الهمزة الهاء
Al-Ha,
العين
Al-Ayyin,
الغين
Al-Ghayyin,
الحاء
Al-Ha,
الخاء.
Al-Kha. Excellent, inshallah. So now this will become second nature, inshallah. Mansoor said to Ahmad that Ahmad is young, he has a sponge, and with the elderly we have cements. So now we need to wait to put some water in the cement. May Allah make it easy, inshallah. So next week, inshallah, we'll continue. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.